So this is just going to be a little video just to recap on a couple of things, because this track Dark Desire, I've put it out with some DJs getting some incredible enthusiastic responses, and really looking forward to putting this out. But I've actually made a couple of changes since the last video, so I wanted to just highlight those and discuss a couple of things about them. And you know, it just goes to show how sometimes when you think a track is there, when you play it on a few systems, experience it in a couple of different locations, sometimes you're going to change your mind about it. Now, the thing that you might remember about the original one is the kick drum. So I highlighted the fact that I used the Max for Live kick, and it's a really great tool for making kick drums. But I kind of changed my mind a bit. Let me just play this. So if you compare to the version before, the kick now is a lot more punchy and tight. Now, you know, there's this other track that I've got on at the moment. I put this freebie out, this You Know I Like It track, which is another one that's really blown up, and you know, thanks to everybody for the comments about that. But I used a kick drum on there, and then when I listened to the two on the iPhone, you know, I was out and about, I was comparing that track and then this track, and it felt as if the kick on this original version just wasn't having the same kind of energy coming through. And because this has got such a big bass line, I took a decision to use exactly the same kick, funny enough, and a nice very short punchy kick. And I feel this really brings the track alive, because it's not being dominated by that longer kick as it was before. You know, when you're making tunes, you need to consider the length of the kick drum. So a long kick drum is going to feel very bassy. Sometimes it can be very difficult to set a bass line on top. Whereas if you have a short kick, punchy kick, you're going to find that it's probably going to give you some space for the bass. Now, let me just solo, right? So the kick and the bass, I get it together. That's a really short kick, all right, really nice, short and punchy. The bass, I'm going to bring it on, both together. So it's, you know, the two are working really nicely, and you know, there's a danger when you're using a big bass sound for the fact you're going to lose some clarity on the bottom end. But I think it's working. I haven't heard it on a big system just yet, so I'm hoping it's right. It feels like it's right. And getting some great comments back from the guys saying it does sound good loud. So let me just show you a little bit more about this bass, right? So this was a massive sound, and the sound itself is this one. It's called Fallen Sign. All right, so this is one of the presets, but it's just slightly tweaked. And there was a couple of things that I was using here that I've turned off. All right, so I've taken those off. The compressor's still working with a little bit of side chaining. The EQ rolling off the highs here. Now this is the crucial part here, right? Because let me just show you something with this bass. It's got width, okay? So it's got its stereo wideness, and you know, a lot of us have been telling you over the years, be careful with stereo bass. Now this is the dimension expander, which is creating that width. I'm going to take it off. So that's just a straight up sound, but I felt it was really nice to have some width on the bass. But as a safety net, what I did was I took here, I'm on the mid-side mode, all right? So I've used the mid-side mode to make the sides mono on the low frequency. So you can see here I've got a low cut, 100 Hertz, so I'm reducing the width under 100 Hertz, all right? So that's a safer approach, because look, this is a really subby bass sound. So that was a deliberate thing. So it's creating a tightness in those sub frequencies. All right, so that was something that I did there. Now, if you listen back to the original, you'll notice that there were no crashes. I added the crashes. Once again, it was a comparison of the two tunes. I listened to You Know I Like It, and then this one after. You Know I Like It, it's got nice crashes to signify certain events, and this really felt like it needed it. So I'm using the M1 standard kit, and you can see here I had to put a low cut on because the crash cymbal, oh my gosh, the very beginning of the bar where it came in, I was getting this kind of weird, I was losing energy on the kick drum. I was thinking, why is that? But take a look at this with a crash, right? I'm going to take off that low cut. Look at that sub boom down there. I mean, that's just madness on a crash. So you'll turn it on, it's nice and clean. All right, so that's a little tip. Watch out for your crashes on libraries. That's the Korg M1. I love the synth, but you know, loads of sub bass in the crash. So watch out for that. So anyway, that's punctuating certain elements, and the other thing, a very significant thing, but it's very subtle, is the organ. So if you remember on here, this was that instrument, dance.org. So if you take a look over here, I added a couple of extra elements to the sound. We've got this kind of slight ringing texture going on there to add some more energy in the mids and the highs. So for me, that's really, really nice to do that. So it's got this, it cuts through a little bit better and gives it a little kind of sense of mystery. I think it's got a really nice vibe to it. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to give you guys an update so you could see what's going on. I'm going to leave it running in the background. Take these off, and I don't remember doing much else that was different on here. Just a little recap. Once again, not pushing too hard into the limiter, the L3 at the end. The magnetic, just doing a little bit of gelling here. I actually eased back a bit on this this section here, which actually works as a bit of a limiter, to be honest. Tape and vintage still there. A little bit of warming down here. I can hear my Mac struggling a bit here. Look, process is nearly 50% over here. But as you can see, I've got quite a few apps running in the background. The Vibe EQ again. So anyway, that's it. And I've bounced it out 24-bit, so that I've got my master at 24-bit. Remember, that gives us this better sense of the volume levels. So 24-bit is like 16 million something steps to represent the difference between silence and the loudest, whereas 16-bit is 65,536 steps. If you want to learn more about that kind of stuff, check out my Black Book lessons. And 24-bit also, I set out the stems too. So if I want to do a remix, or if anybody else wants to do a remix in the future, everything's here. That's something I'd really recommend. It's something that I wish I'd done in the past on a lot of tunes. I wish that I'd actually bounced out the stems, because some of my projects now are archived. They're on old discs. It's a lot of hassle to get them out and kind of load them up and try and reinstate them as they were. Whereas it'd be good to have like just all the audio files really handy somewhere. So it's something I'd recommend. So anyway, this release will be coming out probably in about 2 weeks. And it's with a very select bunch of DJs at the moment, and like I said, amazing responses so far. So it will be available for people to buy in a few weeks, and I'll probably do an update on my channel. So anyway, that's it for the moment. So remember, it's Danny J. Lewis, Dark Desire is a track.